One of the resources that Microsoft provides for free that I think goes overlooked is a pretty robust set of patterns and practices that have been developed both by Microsoft and by the broader Microsoft developer community, MVPs, etc. All right, and that's going to be the patterns and practices that are available to you. And what this is, it's guidelines, in some cases it's templates that help you design specific types of architectures. And there's a number of different patterns that are Azure related that Microsoft has made available. We're going to talk about a couple of those patterns now. And the idea of using a pattern is that you're building a scalable application. Right? And yours is not the first scalable application to be developed. I'm sorry to tell you that. But this has been done before. And so rather than having to go through and really design everything from scratch, there's a lot of this work that's been done and it's made available to you. And there's certain patterns that you want to think about as you're building a scalable application. And three of those patterns are very common. There's guidance provided. You can go and do a search on Microsoft patterns and practices, and you can find these, right? And obviously we're going to talk about them a little bit here. So there's three common patterns that you'll find in scalable Azure-based applications. One is the retry pattern. We're going to go into that in a little bit of depth, and that's something we've already mentioned, that when you have this distributed application, you have these transient faults, and you have to have a way of dealing with that baked into your application. Another concept, and this is something that I think is a very strong candidate for Azure applications, particularly if you've got Azure applications that are using storage, that are serving up file-based or large object-based data, is something called the valet pattern, and we'll talk about what that is. And then finally, there's something called sharding, where I take a large data set and I shard it, I break it up, I essentially partition it so that one data set is actually being hosted across a number of systems so that I get that kind of scalability at the data level. And that's something, we don't actually go too deep into that because that's more a data architecture concept than it is so much an application design concept. And in fact, I can have a scalable application that's got a sharded, let's say, SQL database system, and I may not even be aware of that based on possibly small tweaks that are made within my application code, or possibly no tweaks made within my application code. So we're going to focus on the retry and the valet patterns. But again, the important thing to understand is that these patterns are out there. You can easily get them. Microsoft makes them available for you for a variety of different patterns, not just these three, but these again are the three key that you'll typically see in large scale, scalable Azure-based applications.